Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am PH, your host, and today we're going to listen to a few clips of audio from our beloved president, Joseph Biden. Some of these are extremely hilarious. Some of them are gaffes, mental and verbal. Well, I guess both would be mental. And yeah, some of them are just plain, just blabber, like he's trying to be Kamala Harris. So let's go ahead and get into them. We're going to react to a few of them, see how it goes.
Dick!
President,
How are you, pal?
thanks for swearing at me.
I tell you what, easy to swear at you.
We've got
That is how I'm going to. Oh, man. I don't know very many people named Richard, but that's how I'm going to greet them from now on.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
Okay, so at some point in your life, you're probably going to say something like that. I don't know if it's because he's old and that's all he thinks about now, or if he just legitimately couldn't say the word, but breast came out instead of best, and, me and him can be breast friends. That's fine.
What a stupid son of a bitch. But
Oh, I forgot that he did that to, Fox News correspondent. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me.
Gotta say hi to him.
We go back a long way.
Oh, this was one of his creepy, I used to hang out with a 13-year-old speeches. Let's see what he says.
She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. This woman helped me get an awful lot done. Anyway.
Oh, man, it's so cringy. It's so hard to watch him. I understand you're probably listening through a podcast, but this is, you should see the look of... Okay, so this video is uploaded by Joe, 389,000 subscribers. I'll make sure to link the video in the description. But the picture of this lady is just... She's so uncomfortable. And it's not even the person that he's talking to, I don't think. It's just someone standing behind him. Which, as far as presidents go that have, priceless, surprised look faces in the background, Joe's at the top.
Right.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick.
He is probably sick and tired of smart guys because they're making him look bad.
And tired. Ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
Where I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired.
Oh, I'm just sick and tired. Sounds like Jill probably should have stopped him from running for president.
This notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh, and out comes the old Joe that used to hang out with, Klan members. Very, very many YouTube videos and memes were made from that. He's at the Asian and Latino Coalition PAC fundraiser, I believe. And he says one of the most racist things you could ever say. Poor kids. Let's go back and listen to it again. It's terrible.
Somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Tell us how you really feel, Joe.
Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
I'm sorry to take.
It's not just funny that he has these gaffes, it's the recovery for him trying to get back to saying something that's making sense, but he just makes it worse and worse and worse the further he goes down the rabbit hole. It's better than what Kamala does because she doesn't even try to fix what she's saying. She just repeats herself over and over and over again. At least Joe knows that he said something wrong and tries to go back and fix it.
Takes so long, guys, but everyone knows I like kids better than people.
I like
Yeah, there's tons of memes of him sniffing children and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't know why kids aren't people. Another gaffe of his that maybe he meant adults, but here we go.
kids better than people.
Everybody knows I like
He said it twice? I didn't know he said it twice. Oh, it sounds like he's about to say it again.
kids better than people.
Is he going to say it another time?
Now, very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys in your 30s.
Yeah, another one of his creepy... I don't understand why he can't just, like... When I'm a grandpa, I really don't plan on giving my grandkids sexual advice. I don't know about you, but this girl is like 14 years old. She probably hasn't even thought about it yet. And he's leaning over, whispering into her ear, "No, guys." It's just so hard to listen to.
No what?
No serious guys in your 30s.
Don't keep that in mind. At least.
People are waiting for relief. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this
the
week
creepy
for
whispering.
childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment.
Yep.
Why would I not be for it? Guess what?
You know, when he said that he was, there was a bunch of people looking for relief, I feel like that would have been the perfect commercial for Relief Factor. Like, they should have just opened with that and said, "Hey, by the way, here's Relief Factor." Everyone on Fox News and CNN, you know, probably would have been happy with that.
Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more.
Common misconception. During COVID, when you pay people to stay home, it doesn't matter, up to a certain point, it doesn't matter how much you're willing to pay those people because they'd rather be sitting at home. I thought about it when I was laid off. I think I was laid off for a couple weeks. It was really hard to want to go back. The government's offering to pay me to stay home. I could go do, you know, all kinds of stuff, make second business, double down on my money the entire time that they're paying for me to be here. It's not as simple as pay them more. And pay them more typically leads to inflation, not happy workers. Because if inflation increases at the rate that you're increasing wages, then you're not actually making any more money. It doesn't go any further. You're buying the same loaf of bread, but it just costs $5.60 now instead of $4.75. Whatever, Joe. We'll try this again.
This is an employee's bargaining chip now.
Yeah.
What's happening?
What is happening?
They're going to have to compete and start paying hardworking people a decent wage. Unchain Wall Street.
Oh, ooh. Unchain Wall Street. I don't specifically remember the speech, but I do remember seeing it on the news, specifically Fox News. I think it was actually their YouTube channel. One of their shows was covering this, and it's just hilarious that he can't even argue for his facts without getting booed by the people in the crowd. Did you notice that no one else clapped either? It was just the one solo boo. It's amazing that he struggles so hard for people to like him.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that wasn't very popular. Okay, this is where he tips over on the bicycle. It's less of a gaffe and more of a weird moment. Oh, President down. The eagle has landed. All right, this next video is him tripping up the stairs. If you end up hearing this in the podcast, I decided to leave it in. Mostly, I don't want to put it in there because it's really hard to laugh at old people falling down. But if you like the audio, yep, there he goes. 1 time, 2 times. Oh, on his knees. Checks his pants, continues to walk up. That's really hard to watch. I mean, no matter what side you line up on politically, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to pray for the person that's in charge, right? Either let them, pray for them to keep doing the right things, which in this case, I would argue Biden isn't doing. So in that case, you pray for him to be healthy and have the right mind in order to not destroy the world. And you want to feel bad for this guy. because he's tripping upstairs. He can't get his words out. He's telling stories that didn't, never really happened. It's really hard to watch, and I wish that Jill would have said something, or one of his other family members, or even the doctor that's supposed to tell us whether or not he's mentally sane and physically fit enough to be president. I wish one of those people would have spoken up, because even if we had replaced him with a different Democratic president, I still don't feel like we'd be any further worse off than we are. I mean, maybe if Kamala had actually taken over. But, man, the guy is just not healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I think you know how much it means to me to have you.
Got to rub someone's shoulders.
And I thank you. Trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks
Sniffing
to
her
give
hair.
out here.
Whispering
First
in her
and
ear.
foremost to my perfect wife, Stephanie.
It's the guy's wife.
My wonderful son, Will, and my daughter, Ava, already mentioned.
And
Okay, I'd like to point out in the video, you can't see it, obviously. The guy actually reaches out and touches his wife because the president is, like, touching her. I think he goes out of his way to say, this is my wife. And I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably be like, hey, back off, Mr. President. I don't give a crap who you are. Don't touch my wife. But, hey, to each his own. If he's in charge of you politically and you feel like you're going to lose your job over it, maybe you should turn in an HR complaint. I'm sure the government and Fox News would love that.
you guys can sit in the edge or what? I don't want you to have to stand.
Oh, yeah. Walking away from the microphone to grab a kid.
By the way, he gave me permission to touch him. All right? Why don't you sit in the room like that?
Oh, the kid's running away.
Expand your.
So it's sad that he even has to say that, but the conversation had to have happened in the White House. Mr. President, you can't keep touching kids without their permission. You can't keep touching grown women without their permission. I don't know if you saw the Eva Longoria thing, the weird, like, butt grab, hip grab, whatever you want to call it. The fact that he had to have this conversation, he realizes that it's wrong on stage, and he says, don't worry, it's okay. He gave me permission. That means there's a problem, and you probably ought to look into it, sir.
Capacity is through the partnership that we have, the federal and state
Receiving a
government,
note.
along with local governments.
Sir, no. Sir, there is something on your chin. He's sitting at a conference somewhere. It looks like in the White House. And he's sitting at his own table. He took his COVID mask off, and one of his aides walked up to show him a note. Sir, there is something on your chin.
This issue
his chin.
is ongoing each year, as we have
Looks at
discussed. It
his
gets
hand,
worse. It affects
decides
real
to
people.
eat whatever was on
Thank you,
his
Boris.
chin. Oh.
And I want to.
I think this is another one of those where he talks to someone that isn't on the stage anymore. Boris Johnson is on his left, our right on the screen. Actually on a TV screen. It was probably during COVID. And he thanks Boris. He turns to the right, and let's see what he says.
Thank that fellow down under.
That
Thank
fellow
you very
down
much,
under.
pal. Appreciate
Boris is laughing at
it,
it.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah, I forgot the Prime Minister of Australia's name. That's not good. Oh, and this poor girl. This is the one where he leans in to whisper something to her, and she is obviously uncomfortable and trying to pull away. He's got her by the arm. He's got his forehead on the top of her head, and he's whispering something. Nose, almost a cheek. Goes to kiss her on the side of the head, and she pulls away.
No matter what they're called.
It's just terrible. It's that creepy old man at the mall that, walks up and is like, hey, let me hold your kid. And every mom everywhere is like, please back off before I have to use mace. It's sad. It's so sad to see. And, like, you think of old men as, like, these loving, caring grandfathers, and, oh, let me see your daughters. They remind me of my granddaughters. They're so beautiful. Turn around and walk away. You don't have to make it weird. But he's the creepy old man that walks up and says, hey, can I sniff your daughter's hair?
Cost 2, 10, 12, 15. Boop, stepping on a. That's black. Anyway.
It's black. He just grasps at straws for any descriptive word that he can find for some things. He's taking a step to his right on the stage. It looks like the microphone has a wire hanging off of it. He's tripping on said wire, or possibly another wire. I actually helped set up these types of events when I was in the military. You set up a whole AV, audiovisual studio, and even remote setups and stuff like that. There's all kinds of wires that run across the stage. You got speakers hooked up to each other. You've got the microphone hooked up to the speakers. You've got power for some things running across there. Typically they're taped down, or they have like a plastic cover that goes over the top of them to keep you from tripping on them. It looks like he's tripping on his own wire, and he can't come up with the word wire or cord.
Oh man, this is boring. Isn't this boring? Charlie, this is boring. Come on.
Speaking to kids.
I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the distraction.
Okay, another one that you can't see, but I will tell you about. This is Biden sitting at a conference. He's wearing his COVID mask. He's surrounded by people. I'm assuming it's one of the world leaders' conferences, and he nods off. He starts to fall asleep.
This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. On behalf of we, the
His aide comes over and starts talking to him to wake him back up.
team, I ask you.
Oh, yep, wake up and clap. Rubs his eyes. Man. I'm sure at that age it's harder to stay awake, but given that he's on so many medications to keep him awake, it's really hard to believe that he can fall asleep while sitting at a conference with the world leaders. Jill's grabbing the hands of some other person, and Joe has decided that he's going to hold the hand of the lady next to him that looks like this must be her husband. Jill reaches out to grab his hands, and he does not let go. Okay, we all saw this video probably a couple years ago. It's Joe stepping out of, I forget what the helicopter's name is. Marine One, I think. Well, those are Marines, so it's probably Marine One. He's trying to get his jacket on, but the prop wash from the helicopter is keeping his jacket behind him. Jill tries to help him out, and it's just a few seconds of him trying to put a jacket on. There we go. This is at like 8 times speed, so.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Yep, another one of those weird comments that should just never be said in public, or you should be able to have the wherewithal to think about what you're saying and go, okay, this might sound weird to people, so let me think of a different way to phrase it. He's standing around a group of kids at the swimming pool. I think this is where he gave the corn pop speech. And it's kind of weird to watch both him and Hillary Clinton. When they get around black people, they tend to make their accents a little more Southern. And I don't know if that's just something that happens in the back of their head. Like they're actually talking to themselves and saying, hey, maybe I should sound a little bit more like these people. But I think they need to realize not every black person is from the South, and not all of them have Southern accents. The long drawl that Hillary Clinton gets into actually comes across to me as kind of mean, almost accentuating a black accent, which there really isn't one because black people live all over the country, all over the world. So how can there be just one black accent? But if you listen to both of them very carefully, they actually accentuate a Southern accent. Yeah, we've all seen the video. He turns to the right of the stage and goes to shake a ghost's hand, and then turns around and looks confused because he can't decide which direction he needs to walk to get off the stage. Walking over to the left, nodding at people. Walking off to the right. Someone must have waved him down. Oh, yep, there's Secret Service getting him. I don't remember this specific video. He's surrounded by a bunch of people in, it looks like G2O shirts. They're very, very bright white shirts. It must be... I don't know why this isn't coming to me. I'm not sure what G2O is.
I'm not worried about this guy's biceps.
Commenting on someone's
This is
biceps.
my calf. Look at this. There's a man. I hope we're on the same side.
He's Russian.
I don't
He's
care who he
Russian.
is. He's got some real biceps. We call them guns.
Yeah, we call them guns, but you're trying to make guns illegal. It's really weird listening to him say some of these things. He tries the tough guy act, right? I'm staring into the sunshine right as the sun is setting, and I'm going to tell you to draw your gun, and I'm a badass because of it. It's really hard to listen to. Oh, this is when Obama snubs him. So I'm not sure if this is a dinner that they were doing. I'd have to do more research on that, but he gets done with a speech, turns around and goes to shake, I think it was Barack Obama's hand. He's currently talking to Kamala Harris and another group of people, and they basically turn their backs on him. It's actually very sad. All right, the Global Fund. He's starting to walk toward the side of the stage. Is this the right direction to go? Got his hands up. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Mr. President, thank you.
You're welcome.
At the end of such a momentous event,
I'm not. He's still not sure if he needs to get off the stage.
On the steps we've taken, he said, and I quote, "The combination of private enterprise and government working together has been really successful." He went on to say, all the way through the supply chain, there's a lot of innovation. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, the number of containers sitting on docks, we're going to seize their yachts.
We're going to seize their yachts. Yeah, he's having a really hard time reading off the teleprompter in the last video. I think that's what they're trying to point out. He's like squinting at it. Let's start over with, we'll seize their yachts.
Sitting on docks, we're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains.
Yeah, because rich people are terrible people.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracies.
It's funny that he mentions kleptocracy, because a kleptomaniac is someone that tends to steal. They don't have really a whole lot of control over it. It's an impulse that they have. It takes a lot of time and effort to break people of that habit. And if you consider taxation theft, then you could say Joe Biden is in charge of kleptocracy. Yeah, it's a good video. You should go and watch it. It's actually hilarious. Hopefully you liked my review of it, reminiscing on a few of the things that he said and some of the things that he did that were both weird and funny. If you enjoy the podcast, we are accepting subscriptions now. We just barely signed up for it for the podcast. You can go to buzzsprout.com, look up 1983. We'll put the link in the description for it. And we really appreciate you listening. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.